Hello folks, in this video we will learn about 11 simple and useful JavaScript array methods. So here as you can see we have two arrays. The first is a Pokemon trainers array of objects and each object has a name, Pokemon, age and town. And the second array is a simple Pokemon trainers array with only the names. Now the first method that we will learn about is called the push method, and what this allows us to do is to add an element at the right side of the array, that is at the end of the array. So I will write Pokemon trainers dot push, and here I can write my object. So let me give the name as Paul, and his Pokemon is Turtwig, and let me give the age as 15, and his town is Veilstone City. Now if I simply log out my Pokemon trainers, you will see we have 4 objects and Paul is added at the end, and as you can see the fourth one is Paul. So our push method works like this. Now let me comment this out, and the second method we will check is called the pop method, and what this will allow us to do is to remove an element from the end of the array. So now if I simply log out my Pokemon trainers array, you have these 3 elements, and let's say we want to remove Lyra. So how can we do that? So we can simply do it like this. We will write Pokemon trainers dot pop, and that's it. Now if I console log, as you can see Lyra is removed. So that is how pop works. Now we will see how we can add some elements at the beginning of the array, and we do it using a method called shift. To add we call it unshift, and to remove we will call it shift. So let's check out the unshift first. So we will do it the same way. We will write Pokemon trainers dot unshift, and here we can add our object. So we have already made Paul. Now let me simply add it in a different way. Let me uncomment the push, and at the top let me create another object called Paul, and here I will save Paul. This is also the way we can add objects without making it too complex. And now if I simply console log my push, Paul will be added over here. So this is working. Now let me comment out the push and uncomment the unshift, and here instead of writing the whole everything, I will simply write Paul, and then I will console log my Pokemon trainers. And what do we get? We have 4 objects, but Paul is added at the beginning. When we pushed, it was added at the end, and now it is adding at the beginning. So if I uncomment both, what do we get? We have Paul both at the beginning and the end. So this is how it works. Push adds at the end, and unshift adds at the beginning. Now let's say I want to remove something from the beginning, and in that case I will use my shift method, and this is very similar to the pop method. So Pokemon trainers dot shift, and then let me simply console log my Pokemon trainers, and we have 2 elements, and the first one is gone, so Wall is gone. So this is how we can use our shift methods. Now the next method that we will check is called the indexOf, and what this allows us to do is to find the index of a certain element. But this is only something we can do for the simple Pokemon trainers array. For this array, if we want to find index, we have to use callback functions. So here let's keep things simple, and let's try to find let's say index of ash or red from this array. So what can I write? So let me simply write one variable. Let's name it index of ash, and I will write simple Pokemon trainers dot indexOf, and here I will pass the element, that is ash. And now simply log out index of ash, and what we get? We get 0 because ash is the first element. If I make everything red, then I will get it accordingly. So let's make it red, and we have 1. So this is how it works. Let's change it back to ash. Now the next method we will check is called the lastIndexOf, and before showing you this, let me just add another element in this array, and let's add ash twice. Now this index of ash is already running, and as you can see we are only getting 0. We are not getting the element of this ash. If I add another ash somewhere around here, we are also not getting that. So we are only getting the first element, that is ash. So let's skip to ash, and let's see how we can get the element from the end. and that is something we get using the lastIndexOf function. So let's write lastIndexOf hash. This is the variable name, and I will take my simple Pokemon trainers array and I will use lastIndexOf hash. And if I simply console log lastIndexOf hash, as you can see I'm getting 4. So this is how both of these methods work. One gets it from the start and the other gets it from the end. Now the 7th method that we will check is called slice, and what this does is it creates a subset of a given array. So let me create a subset of the simple Pokemon trainers array. So subset simple Pokemon trainers, and so I'll select the simple Pokemon trainers array and I'll write slice. Now it expects 2 arguments. What is the element that it will start at and where it will end. So let me write 1, 3, and if I simply log out my subset of Pokemon trainers, and also before that let's log out our simple Pokemon trainers array also to compare both. So as you can see, it is starting at red, which is the index of which has the index of 1, and it is ending at May, which has the index of 2, that is it is ending before Barry. So if I make it 4, it will include 3. So yeah, this is how slice works. And the next method we will check is called splice. So there is a difference between the two. This one is slice and the next one is splice. So what this splice does, so it actually removes basically some of the elements from this array. So this is only creating a subset using these indices, but what the splice will do, it will remove something from the original. So let me write one variable name, remove Pokemon trainer or trainers. It can also remove multiple. So now I will select my simple Pokemon trainers array, and here I will write splice. And now it expects the index where it will start. So let's start from red, that is the index of 1, and then it is expecting one count, like how many we want to delete. So let's write 2. Now I will again log out both of these, like my remove Pokemon trainers, and also my basically whole simple Pokemon trainers, and that is already being logged out here. So let's remove this. And as you can see, we are removing red and May. So if I log out this simple Pokemon trainers after, we will see that this now only has 3 elements. If I make it 3, now it has only Ash and Ash. So it is starting from red, and red, May and Barry are removed. So this is how the slice and splice works. And these methods will also work with our Pokemon trainers array, so you can definitely check that out also. But here we will move on to our 9th method, and that is actually a very simple method, and that is called reverse. So this will simply reverse an array. So let me simply create another array of reverse Pokemon trainers, and this is equals to my Pokemon trainers dot reverse, and that's it. Now I can log out my Pokemon trainers, I can log out my reverse Pokemon trainers, and let's see what we get. So we get 3 elements, and as you can see, these 3 elements are actually reversed. So Wally is at the end and Lyra is at the beginning. So the reverse methods works like this. And the 10th method we will use is called the concat method, and what this method does is it basically adds 2 arrays. So let me create a variable called big Pokemon trainers, and we will simply merge these 2 arrays, Pokemon trainers and simple Pokemon trainers. So big Pokemon trainers equals to, let's write Pokemon trainers dot concat, and it wants to concat with the simple Pokemon trainers. Now if I simply log out my big Pokemon trainers, what we get? As you can see, we get this huge array, and Ash, Red, May, Barry and Ash, they are also added at the end. And lastly, we will check one method, and that is called join. So what this does is it basically joins different elements of an array into a string. So let's take our simple Pokemon trainers array and let's join it inside one variable called join Pokemon trainers. Let's name it join Pokemon trainers, and what I will write is simple Pokemon trainers, and I have to write one separator here. Like after it joins, what should be the separator? It should be dot join, and here let's give an empty space as a separator. So now I can simply log our joined Pokemon trainers, and as you can see we have this instead of this one. If I make one dot over here, and as you can see this is a string, and these values are basically created as a string out of this array. So these are the 11 methods, which is quite handy and also widely used. And so that's it for this video, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.